Hello and welcome to the latest from Hearts Standard. We are at Tynecastle Park. My name is Joel Sked. I'm joined by James Kearney, and we are here to discuss Steven Naismith's lineup for the Premiership encounter with St Johnstone. We're back after the international break. Hearts and Lothian are sitting fourth, a couple of points behind St Mirren. Craig Levine brings St Johnstone back to Tynecastle, so plenty of narrative across the board. But as you can see from the screen, Steven Naismith made one change from the team that defeated Motherwell 2-1 before the international break, and that is bringing George Grant back in for Callum Newhoff. And James, I think it's for the first time since we've launched that either one of us has predicted the correct sort of lineup, and it was yourself. I've still not done it.
It was a special moment for us, another huge milestone hit after 9 weeks or so, 2 months. We finally managed to get a team right after combined, like we were saying, about 20 goals. It's what we've probably taken.
Oh, I think more than that. I think it's a more embarrassing figure, but it was when the team landed and I saw you put the graph up. I was like, hold on, that's the same one that you picked before. But I take it, looking at it, you're pretty happy with that lineup.
Yeah, exactly. As I said, when I was doing up my predicted lineups, this is the one I thought we'd get, just because I think Forrest at right wing back in particular just gives you that out ball, as we've talked about a lot. And also I think St Johnstone always sitting very deep today. You look at that, their back three, you've Considine, McGowan, Gordon. They're all, none of those defenders are especially blessed with pace, let's be honest. So they'll be sitting very deep. Which means that the task is going to be, I think, quite similar to the Livingston game a couple of weeks ago. It'll be trying to just break them down, find those little gaps. So I think that's why we're seeing George Grant come back into the team, because I think this, obviously Lowry's got that creative element, that's great, but also having Grant there as well, it's just another creative element in the team. Statistically, actually, Grant's
really
impressive actually,
compared to Lowry in terms of the creativity and getting the ball into the final third, key passes, all that.
Yeah, there's certain things like there's certain metrics where he's actually performing just as well as Lowry, and Lowry's amongst the best performing players in the league in those positions. So yeah, you can definitely see why it's happened. So I think an early goal would certainly settle things down a lot and make things a lot easier to do.
Yeah.
But I get the feeling it could be a wee bit of a slog like the Livingston game, where it's just going to be, Hearts will have 60, 65, 70% possession, maybe even, and it's going to be just about trying to find a way through, because we know exactly what the other team's going to be like. It's going to be very difficult to break down, very well organised, and they're probably not going to be offering too much of an attack right up the other end.
So I think it's a good point. Like getting early goal opens the game up. It forces St Johnstone to go, okay, we need to be a bit more proactive, even if it's not straight away. It might take them out, rather than just go from being defensive to attacking. And following one goal, don't think they would do that, but it does open up space for the game. But we've shown, certainly with the Motherwell game, certainly with the Livingston game here, the last time the Hearts played at Tynecastle, that the team has patience, that the crowd importantly has patience. The crowd are more than happy to, not more than happy, but they're willing to give the team time to break down defences without getting frustrated, and that's massive. That's kind of massive progress, and it's encouraging that the team can do that. But yeah, if this team, I still think, is needing a big performance in terms of result, just like this a team coming to Tynecastle and sitting in, and Hearts just going, you know what, we'll batter you, and getting an early goal and making it 3-4 now, and really getting like a statement win, because that's one thing. Not scored. We've talked about it on or written about it. Not scored a lot of goals. Sometimes we struggle to create clear-cut chances, but being able to score early on and then build on that and really hammer home a win was really important, especially coming into this start of this 9-game sprint, where there's a real possibility to not only get in the third but really cement third.
No, absolutely. I think that which again, we've talked about this before, but this next month or so is going to be absolutely huge. It could potentially be season defining in terms of what goes on. But you're right. I mean, I think I might be wrong, but the only game I can think of this season where Hearts have scored, in fact, no, there's 2 games I can think of where Hearts have scored more than twice, and that would be against Partick Thistle in the League Cup and against Rosenborg at Tynecastle. Apart from that, I don't think we've seen Hearts score 3 goals in a game. Obviously, the most important thing is get the win. It's not getting chickens put here before they hatched, obviously. But I think that would. I think that's when you look at the recent results, where there've been some good performances, some good wins, but the one thing that's not been there quite yet has been that emphatic win. Just getting 3 or 4, and just like you say, dominating the game, not letting them have a sniff, and actually just getting a really resounding scoreline. I don't think we've seen that enough this season. And I think, to be honest as well, when you look at the rest of the teams in the league, I know St Johnstone have found a little bit of form recently, but I still think they are probably the poorest team in the league. And I think that being at home against a team like that, that's probably your best opportunity to get this emphatic win. But especially when you look at these next 8 games after this as well.
And you made a good point about the back three of Constantine, McGowan and Gordon. They're not going to push up the pitch. Even though we're all aware Shankland and Boyce are not a quick front pairing, but at the same time they're not a quick defensive trio. So the deeper they sit, Boyce and Shankland should see a lot of the ball. They should be able to drop deep and combine and move around that back three. And it's a fact that they're going to be backed up by two other creative players who are good to working in tight spaces or good at creative space. So that kind of quartet are going to be massive. But then it means that Beningham's role is going to be huge, just being that recycler of the ball. We know Benny's not going to get on the ball and start spraying passes from left to right or crossing balls or firing balls into the final third or playing through balls. All he did against Motherwell to get it effect. But that's naturally not his game. So his is just about controlling that. The base, providing the rest of the team or the attacking players with a platform to then attack. And then we've seen it before. Cochrane and Forrest are massive. They were massive against Livingston. They were massive against Motherwell as well. They stay wide. They provide width and also high width to get up the pitch. And that allows, if the higher they're up the pitch, then it allows Kai Rowles and Stephen Kingsley to get up the pitch. And you talked about it in your analysis piece after the Motherwell game. Stephen Kingsley's underlapping runs as well, which are again are valuable, because if you've got centre backs coming out of position, that's annoying and frustrating for the opposition team as well.
Oh, absolutely, because you're basically just injecting like some chaos into the opposition ranks. It's okay, you might be organised, but you're not banking on the centre half charging up the parks. And now what are you going to do? Ask the question, seize the initiative. And I think that we'll definitely see it from Kingsley today. Rowles probably to a slightly lesser extent, but I think that's probably because, again, I think like the Motherwell game, I think we're likely to see probably a focus on playing down the right in order to free up some more space for the likes of Lowry and Cochrane on the other side, on the left. So again, that worked really well against Motherwell. Lowry was getting in great positions, getting in positions where he could either drive straight at goal, and maybe take on a man or two, or he could just start spreading the ball about. And I think that I'd be amazed if Hearts weren't going to try and do the exact same thing again today, because as we saw against Motherwell, it was really good. It was one of Lowry's better performances, I thought. And there was a bit of late pressure, and Motherwell did reduce their arrears, but it was also a really controlled performance. And again, that's what Hearts need today, because they are going to have a lot of the ball. And it's about, how do you create those little gaps? How do you manipulate space? How do you kind of trick the opposition into doing what you want to do in order to free up your best players? So again, I think we'll see that. And so for that reason, I think Kingsley in particular, his underlapping runs, obviously he's better at it. I think he's more comfortable than someone like Rowles, because he's also, thinking of Kingsley is he's got that end product as well. He's got that cross. He can even get a shot. Or he's got a good shot on him.
He's come close a couple of times.
He's come very close. And I guess the only thing that maybe hold against him would be the fact that obviously as a left-footed player driving down the right, if you're going to cross it, you're going to be taking a touch inside first. The entire stadium's going to know exactly what you're going to do. So it's not maybe the fastest way of doing it, but
Iron Robin made a career from
Indeed.
I'm not comparing Iron Robin to Stephen Kingsley. Iron Robin, that's definitely not what I'm doing. We may as well touch on St Johnstone and just give maybe a wee bit of insight into them. The big thing, I look at St Johnston's lineup, and they're missing 3 players who I think make them a much better side. One of who's on the bench, so Nicky Clark's out. He's probably their best striker. He's the guy who would probably cause the most discomfort to the back line. Just he's a very intelligent striker. Played up from the lawn in Shankland with Dundee United. Knows the league well. He's not going to score loads of goals, but he's just a wily veteran.
And also, when I look at St Johnstone's strikers, I do think that Clark is probably the most natural goal scorer out of them. Because I think that May and Kane, they're both kind of like workhorses. I think they run around a lot and they make life difficult for the opposition, but they don't get 10, 15 goals a season. Not really. I couldn't tell you the last time either even hit double digits.
So I mean, obviously I think May hit double digits. Was it last season? Did he touch double digits last season?
Did he?
4? But yeah. But
Right.
he had the 20 goal season when he first broke through at St Johnstone. He's moved out to England, and then he got his injuries, and he's which has kind of hampered his career since. He can be a dangerous player, but again, I think he needs to be in a specific system for that to work. Graham Carey is his left foot is brilliant. He might not do a lot of defensive work, but as a set piece threat, as someone from set plays, open play shots, crosses, he's a really dangerous player. He's not on this side, which is a massive boost. There, Max Kuchiavi comes in for him, and then the other one was Sven Sprangler. He is on the bench, but he has been one of St Johnstone's best signings this summer. St Johnstone fans absolutely love him. A real kind of just strong boy in the centre of the pitch. I think he's really good at breaking up play and kind of spoiling play. Just being like kind of that physical presence, but he's on the bench. And then you've got Dara Costello, who's I think naturally a forward, but he's going to play right wing back, we think. So there's been a few changes. So it's not a strong St John's side, but it's a better. I think they were probably a better unit under Levine and Kirk now than they were under Steve McLean.
I would think so. Yeah, I would think so. I think that, to be honest, I look at the squad, I look at their St Johnstone starting 11, there's two players that jump out for me. One's the goalkeeper, Dimitar Mitov, who's been an excellent signing, absolutely brilliant signing. Like, he's quite young as well, isn't he? He's
late 20s, I think.
Is he, right? Yeah. So
young for a goalie.
Relatively young for a goalie, aye. So I think he's been a great addition for them. I think he's a really good player. The other one as well.
You're right. He's only 26. There you go. I think he's a Bulgarian international as well. He's certainly been in the squad.
Yeah, he's been in amongst it for sure. The other player I really like actually in the St John's team is Daniel Phillips. He kind of plays in that kind of number 6 role, kind of similar to Beningame. I suppose maybe a bit more dynamic than Benny. I think he's got a bit more movement to him, but I think he's a really decent player. I know St Johnstone fans were absolutely raving about him last season, and I think that those two players are probably going to be the most influential for St Johnstone, because obviously you have Phillips, who's going to make life difficult for Hearts players when they get in the final third, and then also you've got the goalkeeper who's, as I say, I think I rate him as one of the better goalkeepers in the league, perhaps even one of the best. He's definitely in that conversation. So again, it's going to be a tricky one, but then Hearts got Shankland up top, and that always helps because he's a very, very good finisher. And Liam Boyce isn't bad either.
That's it. So I think essentially, if Hearts play relatively well, we win. Should be as simple as that. So James, before we finish, give me a prediction.
I will go for a 2-0. I was almost going to go for it. No, I don't think it's going to happen quite yet.
I'll take that on and go 3-0. I'll step up and I was going to call you something that rhymed with or is it something that ended with bag, but I'm not going to do that. So yeah, I'll go 3-0. Before we finish, just to let everyone know that we've got our Black Friday offer on at the moment with Hearts Standard. You can subscribe for and get a year subscription for £10. It is an offer that runs until next Friday, and it's the best offer that we will have on. And once it's gone, it will revert back to full price. So if you are still swilling on whether to subscribe to Hearts Standard, this might be the best chance to do it. I've put a piece up on the website to kind of give you an idea of what we've done so far, what we kind of want to do in the future, and why. So if you're thinking about it, or you've got friends that are thinking about it, do think about subscribing, and it's just a £10 for the year. But other than that, hopefully you have a good afternoon, and hopefully we are back here talking in a few hours' time about the Heart of Midlothian win. Goodbye.